Hello whisky fans and welcome back. Thanks for joining me on December the 24th, because you've probably all got other things to be doing, so thank you for joining me. So December the 24th it's a little known, little celebrated holiday observance. The day before the 25th of December, it's Christmas Eve. The day when infinite elves are toiling endlessly to get gifts ready for children and larger children worldwide. So this is the last dram of the Advent calendar. Let's hope for something good. Label away, break the seal. It's got to be a good one on the final day, hasn't it? And I think the table has survived. I haven't bleached it with cask strength whiskey yet, so I think we've got away with that one for another year. Oh, that's a beautiful colour. So very pleased with that. That can only be a natural coloured whiskey, really, can't it? I mean, if it's completely unaged, it could have a tiny amount of colouring in there, but I'd be very surprised if that's not the natural colour of the spirit being so pale. What about haze? Does it look non-chill filtered? Yeah, there's a bit of haze in there. It's not too clear. And this definitely smells like it could be a good one. Definitely smells like a single malt. Doesn't smell like one of the world whiskies that we've had recently, which, as good as they are, single malt is kind of king. It's a little bit unfair because world whiskey is coming on by leaps and bounds. There's some really good stuff out there, but when you come home to a single malt, you know it, don't you? So quite a light one. Smells like a fairly stereotypical bourbon matured single malt. A little bit of gristy cereal barley character in there. Just from the nose, I would guess perhaps this is like between 8 and 10 years old, perhaps. Quite a sweetness, bourbon sweetness, as well as a sweet, slightly appley and slightly lemony fruitiness coming through from the malt. Bags of character there. Bit of a creaminess coming through as well, creamy, vanilla. Sweet, creamy, malted barley spirit, bourbon casks, lemon, apple. Let's see how it tastes. That's very familiar. Nice, sweet and dry notes coming out from some bourbon matured single malt. Little bit of a tropical fruitiness coming through as well though, which reminds me of something that I reviewed very recently, which is this stuff. It really tastes, didn't really get it on the nose. On the nose it's more of your kind of stereotypical bourbon matured single malt. Slightly nutty, sweet bourbon, barley, gristy, good. On the palate, getting a little bit of rum influence, a little bit of tropical fruit, a little bit of pineapple, peach, strong sweet peach note on the palate of this one. More barley notes coming through. The finish is probably medium length and pretty decent. You got those same flavours continue throughout the finish. I can't help thinking that it's a lot like this one here. So yeah, this one here, what did they call it? The English Whisky Company, so it's my local distillery, and they called it the Rum Cask Matured release. So that was a fairly young whisky. It's unpeated, and trying to read that, 5, 6, 7. I think it was just under 7 years old. It's a lot like that. Now I'm thinking about it, I might be tricking myself, but I'm getting some more of those rum notes coming through. Definitely similar notes to that rum cask St George's English Whisky. Peach, a little bit of pineapple, cream, peach, stone fruits, really pleasant sourness. I am really intrigued now. Again, I might be tricking myself and looking too hard for it, but I think I'm getting a little bit of an overripe banana note coming through on the nose of this one now as well, which is obviously a note that you get on a lot of quality rum. So let's see what we've got. I would be amazed if they'd picked like that English whiskey rum cask for their final dram of the calendar, but it really is something very similar. Samuel Gulliver and Co, England's number 6. So this is Samuel Gulliver and Co. They produced something that was in the Advent calendar last year, and I was really kicking myself because last year it was a peated whisky from St George's Distillery. So they're an independent bottlers, Samuel Gulliver and Co. And England's number 6 is 46%, which I guessed, I can't remember now. But I know that Samuel Gulliver and Co, they do bottle things from St George's Distillery. My local distillery which produced this stuff. So I'll be very interested to hear if that is what we've got in this one. Let's do a little bit of a research. Or fat fingered that. Where are we? Samuel Gulliver and Co. So I think Gulliver's 47, that was what we had in the calendar last year. That's still in stock apparently. That was pretty good stuff for £61. This stuff sells for £69, which is actually more. It's about, I think, £4 more than I paid for this stuff. So not sure about that price. Same ABV and a very similar profile, but is it from my local distillery? Exciting release from Samuel Gulliver, rugby this, rugby that, England's number 6, blah blah blah. I don't watch rugby. I used to play rugby at school because I'm a bit of a big guy and they kind of roped me into it, but not my sport. English single malt distilled by St George's Distillery, finished in rum casks. So that is, we don't know how old it is, but that is, as near as damn it, the same as that stuff. And you can really tell. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the same 7-year-old spirit that they put into that. As you'll know from my review, I didn't go absolutely crazy for this stuff, but it's a good drop. It's not the best whisky that we've ever had from English Whisky Company. It's probably in the lower half of whiskies that they've released in the last 5 years, but it is a good quality rum cask release. And they've obviously listened to me. Master of Malt have obviously paid attention, and they knew that I was going to be doing this, and they've put in my local whisky for the final dram. So very pleased about that. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for watching for anyone that stayed all the way through this series on the Explorer's Advent Calendar this year. I think it's been pretty good. Good value, I think. £100 for this. There's some really interesting stuff in here. 3 or 4 duds maybe, kind of what you expect, but for £99 I think you get your money's worth for this one. Probably much better value than the premium advent calendar last year. But yeah, I've enjoyed it, and I'm going to go off and enjoy the rest of this one, which is good old Norfolk whiskey. I'll probably put a video out tomorrow just giving a little outro and rundown of the rankings for everything that we've had in the calendar this year, and maybe a little Christmas message. Until then, thanks for watching and cheers.